Hey, it's your guy Ren. Welcome to Cinema Slime, a podcast for film lovers who can't stop talking about the movies that move us, confuse us, or just make us want to yell at the screen. I'm joined, as always, by my brilliant co-hosts Harrison and Scott. Let's go.
Is your video up or? Oh God, turn it off. Oh,
we got a lot of things going on. I'm on dad duty, so say no more.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh my gosh.
But you're a dad?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
That's really
just
dumb.
every now and
How'd
then.
you do that?
I act. Yeah, it was a mistake.
Both times?
Both times. Trust me.
How did that
Just
happen?
You know, there's books that'll tell you that. How that happens.
It's called The Birds and the Bees.
Yep.
Oh. Scott, do you remember your parents giving you the birds and the bees talks?
No, actually. I don't think my parents did.
Love my parents, but I swear, from what I remember, Dad was like, "Hey, what if we can just chat for a second?" And I was like, "Sure." And he sat me down and he was like, "Hey, so anyways," it was just it was literally just very like, so yeah, like, you know, just things, stuff. It was just one of those like, okay. And then
I stepped out of the room for a second. Are you retelling a story about how you were told about the birds and the bees?
yes.
Okay.
Is that how you got taught the birds and the bees?
I kind of just put it together, but I don't think I ever had that talk.
Yeah, that's what I said. My parents didn't give me the
Yeah,
talk.
like that birds and the bees thing. I was just like, I don't know that story. Like, I don't get it.
I mean, I was like number 4 of 6. I think my parents were like, whatever.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
No,
They got big bros.
I think kind of with you, right? I think I just kind of pieced it together at some point. I do distinctly remember opening it up, you know, one of those books that's like The Miracle of Birth, and you open it up and it's just like, oh, all right. Like,
Lots of pictures of pregnant people.
yeah, pretty much. And then, you know, the actual birth, and you're just like, oh, okay. And it's like, I'm not gonna look at that, but I'm sure I'll process it and figure it all out.
Yeah. My kids have a much different upbringing. I think this was like a week or two ago, but the topic, like, the boys were like, "Oh, yeah, that'd be cool to have a little brother or sister." And I was like, "You don't even know how babies are made. What do you mean?" And he was like, "Yeah, I do. A pussy goes in a..." He was like, "Yeah, I do. A penis goes in a vagina." And I was like, "Okay, you got it down. All right, perfect." Sorry, I got that reversed.
I was gonna say that. I mean, we could try stuff, but
Wait a minute. Ren, how did you have 2 kids?
Wait a minute.
Like I said, total accident.
I'm sure it is. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, my kid. There's no mystery. The mystery's gone nowadays. The internet destroyed everybody.
Yeah, no, pretty much. I've been on a yeah, no, this is definitely another week of me being like, God, social media just needs to go away and just not exist anymore.
Yeah.
But no, I did take one preventative measure. So Reddit is basically the only one that I'm still like stuck on. Like Facebook, I'm pretty off of it right now. Like every now and then, like once a day, I'll scroll through. But Reddit, I'm like, no, I'm still enjoying this. And more just like crap was like, you know, coming in like, oh, suggested posts. And I'm like, I don't care about that. And so I made a second Reddit account, and all it is Game of Thrones and Song of Ice and Fire discussion pages. That's it. and I just leave it on that. And it's funny, like I click on Reddit and I go, oh, this is my like, you know, talk about nerdy stuff page. And I'm like, I guess I'm not really in the mood to do that. And then I just put my phone down and I'm like, whoa, it worked. So cool. And then when I am in that mood, then I just talk about nerdy crap, and it's awesome.
Yeah, I feel like more social media should do that Reddit thing. Cause like, dude, like hearing everyone's thoughts about literally anything is like so annoying, especially when you know them. Like, come on, dude. I don't want to, like, I want to like know what's up in your life, but I don't want to know every thought and who you voted for and how mad you are about this thing. Like, it's so crazy. That's the worst part about it.
Yeah, no, even a couple of close family members, I've been like, you know what? I'm just gonna unfollow you for a little while. Like,
don't unfriend them.
Yeah,
just
I'm not gonna unfriend you. And it's like, look, I don't actually have a problem with your thoughts and views on that. I just don't want to look at it anymore.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no judgment. Just like, that's not why I'm on my phone.
Yeah, that's not why I'm on my phone. Air froze again. Hold on.
Wait, Harrison, your face is all like
distorted.
Whoa.
Did you watch a tape recently?
You know what? I did. That's so weird.
You have a VHS player?
I do actually.
Nice.
It's pretty crazy. Like we came on here and without even on purpose, we're like complaining about social media and overconsumption and stuff. But that's like what The Ring is. It's like,
Yeah, totally.
It's pre-social media critique on overconsumption.
I definitely got that vibe actually when I was watching it. I was like, whoa, like there's like a slight undertone of like, by the way, TV's bad. Like, don't sit too close, it'll mess up your eyes, kind of a thing.
You might get dead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, this might as well just be our transition. So let's run the tape.
Oh my god.
All right.
Have you heard about this videotape that kills you when you watch it? You start to play it, and it's like somebody's nightmare. And as soon as it's over, your phone rings. And what they say is, you will die in 7 days.
Katie told you she was gonna die.
She told me. She said she didn't have enough time.
Would you say that I'm gullible?
No.
Easily rattled?
You're a little highly strung, maybe.
I watched the tape.
I'm not gonna get all worked up over some rumor. Oh, show it to me.
Miss Keller, I'm bothered by these drawings.
Why did you draw that house?
She told me to.
Who? Who told you to?
She shows me things.
Before you die, you see the ring. The images on the tape are leading us somewhere. Did she show you the horses?
Don't you understand, Rachel?
Tell me, miss, what is it you think you know?
Hello? Before you die, you see the ring. When you see the ring,
Everyone will suffer.
you see the ring. You see the ring. You saw it.
All right. The Ring.
The Ring. Okay, so I think we've heard the story like 4 times already. But
I know.
Ren, you are the one who put this on your list, and it did get selected, and you were hyped about it. I edited the part where you guys were going over the selections for it, and when The Ring got called, you were like, "Yeah!"
Yeah, I knew it was gonna get picked. I don't know how, but I'm glad it did. But yes, this was on my list. This was the first movie on my list. This was the first movie I thought of when the childhood trauma category was selected.
Oh wait. We're out of time travel?
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna try and critique what kind of time travel this movie was. But
No.
we've moved on in life.
We
Okay.
have.
No more looking back into the past with regrets.
Only forward.
Only forward from now on.
So all I remember is I was 13. This movie came out, and our neighbor Marcus, one of my best buddies, a little bit older than me, he suggested we go to the movie theater, and I was feeling really brave and really proud of myself that I was willing to go see this scary movie. And I just remember having this moment of like, okay, this is actually getting kind of scary, and I'm sitting right next to him, and I'm like trying not to look like a total wuss. And I remember like having so much fear, and just like completely, I just stopped caring, and I put my hands over my eyes, and I watched the whole movie through the slits of my fingers.
That's amazing.
And just like, I was just like, I no longer care what I look like. You can make fun of me all I want. I like subdued my ego, and I just lost it. And I was so terrified. And I think I blacked out after the horse eyeball scene. Like, I don't remember anything after that point. And I don't know why that scene was so scary, but like just the build up and
Like on the ferry.
the ferry ride,
Yeah.
the
Dude.
horse, and just like the unwinding of the story and like all these clues and how it all lines up. And then I won't, we'll get to it at the end, but the method of how Naomi Watts, her character, how she goes into the well, I like, that was the scariest moment of
It
my life
was-
up to that point.
Yeah, I'll tell you the horse scene on the ferry was like the most uncomfortable part of the whole movie for me for some reason. It was really
Yeah.
wigged me out.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
something about that is terrifying. And yeah, I just remember after the movie theater experience, getting teased about that. And then I like, this is generous, but I was afraid of the dark for another 6 months after I saw it. It was probably longer than that. But I just remember being like kind of blown away of how I could be like, have a fear of the dark be reintroduced into my mind. Like, I'm like, I reverted. I got so scared that like, I'm like a 5-year-old now. This is crazy.
Yeah, you
And,
just got over it like a month ago, and now it's right back.
Yeah. And like, I remember just staring at the top of the stairs because I'm like thirsty. I need to go down to the kitchen and get some water. And I was like, I guess I'm not going to do that. I'll just drink water out of the upstairs bathroom sink. And like, I just got accustomed to it. And yeah, this movie impacted me greatly. And I didn't watch it for like 23 years. Yeah, it was really
so
fun
awesome.
rewatching it again. And it was really fun because Knox, he's always just like, let's watch a scary movie. And we've talked about it. I've shown him some. And I was like, I have to watch The Ring. I really don't think you're going to like it. And he's like, let's watch it. So we all watched it, but we kept the atmosphere light. And it was really funny because he was like trying not to be scared. And then he would like, I'd look over him and he's like hiding behind Allie's like shoulder. He's like, oh, I was like, oh, and it was just so much fun. And then he's the type of kid that like 5 minutes later after that, he's like, when's this movie going to get scary?
Yeah, it's like, what the heck? Like, come on.
Yeah.
I haven't pissed my pants yet.
Yeah.
What's your definition of scary, kid?
Yeah. But I don't think it traumatized him because he hasn't been afraid of the dark. And yeah, just I think keeping the mood light when you're watching a scary movie makes it fun and not traumatizing. So
Also, we don't have CRT TVs with static.
dude, that's so true. Like, I'm so glad I haven't seen a static screen in like 15 years. So yeah, kids don't even know.
You don't get it, guys.
Yeah, you don't understand. You like actually had a chance of walking in on a TV with that on it
Yeah.
when we were kids.
Man, I remember, we had this tiny little TV that I carried around, had a handle on it and everything. I remember walking downstairs Saturday morning for cartoons with that thing and like smacking the side of it, trying to get the picture to look right, and then like, moving the intent. I don't know. It's just there's a good memory with that little TV.
That TV was awesome. I just remember playing like Super Nintendo on it all the time.
Yeah. You know what? Like, I know people. Actually, there's a shop near me. They do Super Smash Bros. Melee tournaments, and they have all old CRT TVs there, and that's the only way they play. And I'm usually not too like, stressed about that. Like when I play an old game, I'm like, I'm just gonna throw it on my computer screen, sweet. But just talking about this, like, I kind of want to get an old TV and play an N64 game on it just to get that vibe one more time.
So Harrison, I know that this is a movie you hadn't seen before. You're a couple of years younger than me and Ren, so you didn't see it in theaters like we did. And this is not your kind of movie.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to know what your experience was.
Yeah. Okay. So I will say this. I had a couple fun moments where I was watching the film, and you know when you're watching a scary movie, you have like you can kind of see some things coming, you kind of anticipate it. And it was funny watching it. It'd get to that moment, and then I'd slowly push my phone away from my face, like, just like something's gonna happen, and I would just like put it like at arm's length away from me. It was pretty funny. Overall, I actually really liked this movie, like a lot. This was really interesting and very fun. Doesn't sound like the right word, but I had a really good time watching this movie.
Yeah.
I went into it. I'm not trying to sound like brave or whatever, but honestly, this movie, I was like ready for this thing to like scare the shit out of me. And honestly, I watched it. I was like, wow, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I think it's way more interesting. Now,
Well, it's interesting and it's very atmospheric, I would say.
Yeah.
I think the blue green tinge on the whole movie really adds to it, by the way. That Pacific Northwest like blue tinge filter over the whole film.
To go back on what I said last episode, that's exactly what the Pacific Northwest is like all the time. It's exactly like
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
So,
that's why
so
I
if you
wear
want to
blue all
move
the
here,
time.
if you want to move here because it's beautiful, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
pretty
stay
much.
away.
That being said, it is very green and blue out of my window right now.
But no, like honestly, like I said, it didn't really terrify me, but the atmosphere was really interesting. Like I would say this, I was expecting this, like I said, I was expecting this to be just absolutely terrifying and kind of gross. Like it's gross horror movies are the ones that really like curl my insides and I don't really want to watch them. I would say like M. Night Shyamalan's Signs and The Ring is like a step above that in terms of like my levels of what I enjoy of what I can handle in terms of like horror movies. And it was really nice. Honestly, I like watching those kind of movies where it's more suspense than anything.
Yeah, it's not really jumpy. I mean, there's a few jump scenes that are scary, but it's not just like in your face and it doesn't overdo it.
No, honestly, at the very end of the movie, the first thing I wrote down was like, this was more like a kind of like a paranormal mystery movie more than anything, with a couple scenes in there that, made me go, oh, like, man, like the one scene that got a visceral reaction out of me was when she was pulling that hair out of her mouth.
Dude,
Like that.
I forgot about that. That was
Like
nasty.
I was watching that and I literally wrote down in my notebook, I went, oh, no way. No. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one, yeah, that was the one scene that really got me. And the rest were just like good, a few little jump scares in there, a couple uncomfortable moments, but mostly it was just this atmospheric feeling of like kind of like paranoia. Especially that opening scene with the two girls. Like perfect example of this is the gal who ends up dying in the beginning. She walks to the fridge, opens it up, and I was really expecting to hear when she closed that fridge to have that creepy girl standing there to scare me, and it didn't happen. And I was like, oh gosh. And I'm like, but wait, something's going to happen.
Yep.
That anticipation.
Oh man, I'm glad you brought that up. I feel like there's enough subtlety in this movie, ironically, because this movie is often critiqued for being like not very subtle compared to its Japanese counterpart. But there's subtlety and restraint in this movie that I think like what doesn't happen is just as scary as what does happen. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Well, yeah, and I think doing that makes the actual true moments more impactful. Because like we get like for example, I would say some of the scarier things are the tape itself has a couple like uncomfortable moments, like when it's like that shot of all the maggots like crawling on the floor and then it turns into bodies in the water, like that wigged me out. And then like the quick shots of the two people who die due to the tape, like their faces being all like dehydrated and all like walked out, like those quick shots really stick with you because it there's that anticipation, and then the moments that there's actually isn't jump scare, it makes the other one stand out a lot more.
Also, I didn't remember this either, but like the kid in this movie is extremely creepy.
I mean, if I had that haircut, I'd be that creepy too. So
yeah. And it's really, I started cracking up because there's that scene where the teacher is like showing the mom these like violent pictures, and like my son draws way more violent pictures than him, and I was like, this is not a good sign. It's like you see that Sonic EXE picture that knocks through. Yeah, like my boy he'll like draw Sonic the Hedgehog, but he'll like add blood coming from their like mouth. I'm like, oh, that's really very violent. But don't draw that at school.
Yeah, no. Have you guys had your kids draw uncomfortable pictures at school yet? Because it happened to me.
not at school, but at home. I'm just like, okay, let's burn this. And
man, okay. Like I'm not trying to like shame, but like my son drew a picture and his teacher got way too personal about it and was like calling us and like being like, oh, like I'm just really concerned about your son and the stuff that you're letting him see. And I'm just like,
have you seen The Ring? Yeah.
Oh gosh. No, honestly, like that scene happened and my thought process was like, you know what? Let him draw it. It's better than him draw it than actually doing it. Like, I don't know.
Well, here's what you do. You just don't let them draw. And then the pictures don't happen.
Yeah.
You are so smart, Scott.
Yeah.
Squelch that
Simple as that.
creativity.
That's right.
In the beginning. all
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. As soon as Jamie came up to me and was like, "Hey, I'm really interested in drawing this," I'm like, "No, you shouldn't." do that."
You were like, I'm burning all the pencils.
Yeah. No, squash all creativity, any independent thought. Simple things like that.
One other little detail that I didn't remember about the movie was like all the like unimportant characters along the way that just add to the creepiness.
Like the little Kevin guy with the cards.
Yes, the magician guy at the front counter. Yeah.
Yeah, I've certainly felt bad for him. I'm like, I just want the magic trick to work for him.
Well, I've seen the movie and I was like, oh yeah, he knows about the tape and he put them in that room on purpose. But he didn't know anything. He was just a front counter guy at a hotel or motel or whatever.
Yep.
Now, if I'm recalling correctly, there's a deleted scene, or it was originally in the movie, that they find him dead at one point.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, there's a weird, like, just real quick. Okay, let me see if I got this right. So you watch the tape, you get the phone call. You're going to die in 7 days. And it's not the fact that you show someone else the tape. You have to make a copy of the tape. Is that the rule that they establish? I thought it was something like that. Like you have to make a copy and then you have to pass it on to somebody else. And that's what stops you from dying.
The perpetuation is the important part, but making a copy is okay. Yeah. So this is like, this was originally a Japanese book called Ring. Then it was a Japanese movie called Ringu. And then it was adapted a few years later for American audiences called The Ring. And all three of them focus on you have to copy the tape and show it to other people.
Yeah.
So it's like ambiguous if you're like trying to tease out between the two of them. It's propagation of overconsumption of media and experimentation on kids. That's what it is.
Gotcha. Because I was trying to figure it out because her son ends up watching the tape. And I was like, oh, does that mean she won't die now because he watched the tape? But I think it's the fact that she copied the tape and then she needs to show it. Then she copied the tape and then showed it to Noah. And that's what stopped her curse from going off. I think
and that's why in the very end, when she is his name Aiden?
Yeah.
That's his name?
Aiden.
Where she presses his finger onto the record button to copy the tape, so it saves his life in the end.
Okay. That makes that makes more sense. That ending scene, I was like, I think I get it, but okay, that makes it more clear.
Also, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Adam Brody, but I did not remember he was in this. Do you remember him, or do you know who he is from like the
Adam...
OC and?
The guy who plays Noah
No, he's like in the very beginning where he's like the cool high school kid with the other high school girls.
Oh,
and he's like,
yes,
he talks kind of creepy.
He's the only one that looked familiar to me.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god, this was like his third movie, but his name is like Teen Kid #1 or something. But anyway,
he's got that perfect look of like, I'm not under 18, but I am a high schooler. Like that was the vibe I got from him. Yeah, I'm not shocked that he was in the OC. He had that look about him.
Yeah, handsome, but yeah.
Staying with the copy and the tape thing, there was did you guys read about the alternate ending that they originally had planned?
No,
because I thought it was pretty cool. So originally what was supposed to happen was at the very, very beginning of the movie, she was supposed to be like interviewing this convict who got out of prison. He's like, oh, I'm reformed. He was a rapist. He like murdered somebody. And then like at some point in the film, it was supposed to show that he kind of like relapsed. And then at the end of the movie, that's who she gives the tape to. Like she drops it off at his house or something. And it was supposed to be this like, oh, look, like she had to kill somebody, but he was a bad guy. So don't worry about it, There was that one. And then the more other one was the other alternate ending was she had a Blockbuster rental and she was supposed to put that tape inside of the Blockbuster rental and return it to Blockbuster. And like it was just supposed to be like someone random person was supposed to rent it and then die. I was like, okay.
It's also pretty dark.
Yeah, it's pretty dark too. Like honestly, like the way they ended the film felt ominous, but it didn't feel like I don't know. It didn't feel like icky or anything like that. Like I didn't feel like it's like, oh, she has to murder other people now or something. I don't know. I like the way they ended it though. It felt good.
It's a good ending, but it definitely like right away you're like, oh, there's gonna be a sequel,
which I have not watched and won't.
Oh, won't. Yeah. I was really impressed with this viewing because I was just grateful I didn't remember a lot about it. but I remembered like when you watch the full tape while she's watching it the first time, it's really creepy. And I love how throughout the movie, it all starts piecing together. And by the end of the movie, like you can basically put it all together. You're like, oh yeah. But there's a point where, at least for me, but there's a point where she sees that centipede. And right then I was like, oh, now the film is like involved in her timeline.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's like where like you kind of get the heart sinking like fear moment. At least that was like one of the main like that like moved me this time. I was like, oh my God, like that, it would be so scary. Also, my jaw dropped when she walks into that house and she looks up and sees that mirror. Dude, that's so scary. Like, I don't know if it was like PTSD fear or like whatever, but like, I was like, oh my God. Like, I don't know. I just love how the movie kind of strings it along and kind of pieces all together. And there's even a part where Noah, the father, he's trying to uncover what's going on and looking for the tapes and going like to the source material, where he finds those burned like
the X-rays.
Yeah. And he doesn't know where to go, and like the fly leads him there. And they just kind of keep following these little clues along the way. Because the fly is involved on the tape, and she like takes the fly out. And anyways, that's so cool.
I love that scene so much.
But
that was
we'll talk more about Gore Verbinski, but I think one of the unsung heroes to build tension throughout the story in this movie was showing you how many days are left.
The Majora's Mask.
Yeah, totally. You have this countdown, and like I don't know. It was really effective in this movie.
So one thing that did for me was the day counting down, because the first like 5 days are so fast. Like you get like 1 or 2 scenes, and then it's like day 4. Okay, 1 or 2 scenes, day 5. And so there's a couple things that it did for me. Once it hit, I think day 5 is when it starts getting like long, like they do a whole day with her. Once it hit day 5, I was like, wait a minute. I clicked my phone screen. I'm like, I'm not even halfway through the movie, and we're on day 5. Like for some reason, I expect like once you hit day 7, that's the end of the movie. And then I was thinking about it more, and I was like, I literally thought, I was like, oh my gosh, are we gonna have like a main character switch? Like she's gonna die like halfway through the film, and it's gonna shift over to Noah or something. Like that was kind of what was clicking through my head as the days were counting down.
I wanted to point out, I don't know if you guys remember this, but the actor who plays Noah, let me look his name up real quick because I want to shout his name out.
No, I feel like I've seen him in a couple things too. Like he's one of those actors that's just like peppered throughout your life, and you just actually know his name.
I feel the same way, except he's like really not in anything.
Martin Henderson. Okay.
Martin Henderson.
So I'll tell you how I know him, but he has a random cameo in the Britney Spears music video for Toxic. He's like the guy that the black-haired Britney Spears like straddles on the floor. And I always recognized him from that, and I was like, dude, he's so lucky.
He's so lucky, dude. I wish I was that guy. Dude,
shout out to him.
Yeah,
I really liked him in this movie though. He was totally believable. There might be 1 or 2 parts that I didn't love, but like I liked him a lot.
I liked his sweet ass apartment. That's what I liked.
Yeah, that's what I said to my wife. I was like, "What is this? Like a giant studio? It's cool."
Okay, I was like, why is everybody single, has like a really like mediocre job and like a nice penthouse condo in Seattle? Like what?
Okay. Well, maybe that's the most 2002 thing about this movie. That's a great one. Affordable housing.
What?
That hasn't aged well. Okay, and then there's a part where they show a phone number and there's no area code. And I was like, I missed those times, man.
Good days.
And then there was she's outside and there's a bus that drives by it.
Seinfeld?
Yeah, no, it was Frasier.
Okay.
Is it Frasier? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was like, 2002, man.
So good. No, it was, as I was watching it, actually along that line, I also liked all the like super high-tech VCR like machinery they had. Like, you know, she goes to that news studio, there's all these like screens and buttons and all these things, and I was like, wow, this is like high tech back then. Also, when I was watching this movie, I was kind of thinking like, this is a little dated because it's a VCR and, you know, it's 2002. and I was trying to like modernize it in my head. I was like, I wonder if it would just be like a YouTube video now that would just get shared across the world and then everyone would die. And then the other thing I thought was when they're looking at the photos and their faces all are warped, I was like, that would be like a viral TikTok like filter if this movie came out nowadays. Like everybody would be posting video pictures like, check out, my face is warped. I'm gonna die. Oh no.
Yeah, speaking about that, I was a little Photoshop whiz back in 2002, and I was like, "That's the smudge tool." I definitely made the ring faces for people.
That's awesome.
You know what's funny? Like, so this is the first time I've ever seen this movie, but I actually remember doing the 7 days call prank. Like, I remember calling one of my friends and going, "You're gonna die in 7 days," and I just hung up the phone, and I thought I was so cool and like so funny. I never even saw the movie. I just heard it through other people.
Yeah, we would do *69, so there's no caller ID.
Oh yeah,
and then
gotta
do
be
it.
careful.
That's the trick.
Wow.
By the way, I actually I feel like we all went through that moment when we didn't have area codes, and then when they put out area codes, everyone's like, "What? I've memorized 3 more, numbers. This is ridiculous."
Do you remember that commercial with the elephant?
No, I don't. I don't
Okay,
think
it
so, but
shows.
it sounds great.
It's like, sorry everyone, you now have to dial your area code before, and it shows this elephant, and he's like trying to press the numbers on his phone, and he can't because his paw's so big, and he's like, oh no, or something. Anyways.
Oh, that's a TV slime.
yeah, I gotta find that.
Oh my gosh, that sounds.
You just
so
unlocked that
good.
memory.
That's
and I was like,
great.
yeah, that is gonna suck.
I think it's interesting. I mean, so many people have so many fond memories of this movie. And I think part of it is the fact, like what you were saying, Harrison, is this movie is scary, but it's not really grody. And if you look at it, it's actually PG-13. Like, how many horror films are PG-13? And so, like, the target audience was teenagers, and it really is made for teenagers to be, like, scared at night with their friends watching this thing and going, wait, are we gonna like die? And then pranking each other and stuff like that. It's like early pre-social media virality built into the concept of the movie, which is pretty rad. So there's a couple of things about this as a horror film that is really different than horror films that came up before it. Because before it was, like Nightmare Before, or not Nightmare Before Christmas, but like Nightmare on Elm Street, or like Freddy versus Jason. It was like very American slasher flicks, or like really gross, weird body horror movies, or something like that. And this movie is pretty sanitized and tame as far as the visuals in comparison. But because like the themes are really scary, it like went underneath the radar as like, well, it's kind of like a horror movie, but it's not like a horror film we know. And so it wasn't like your mom wasn't going to be like, well, don't watch that movie because it's got all this like grody stuff in it. But it didn't. It was genuinely scary on the content, not on the shock factor. That's very Japanese, right? This is a Japanese horror film that was made into an American horror film. And there's this like smashing of Japanese folklore and Japanese horror into an American palatable movie. And it's like, we didn't know what to do with it. And so it was like, this movie came out, and then pretty soon after that, there was like a bunch of Japanese horror films that were remade, like The Grudge and things like that were just these vengeful spirit kind of Japanese monsters that didn't fit within our paradigm of like, it's a monster, we didn't really know what to do with it. It wasn't like The Exorcist. Like Samara in this movie is not like The Exorcist, but they kind of tried to play her like she was, but then there's like this sympathy angle, but it's like, what do you do with that? So I don't know, like, do you guys like, I kind of feel like this was kind of like the Matrix of horror films. Like it changed how horror was done in America because it was so different and so like good and so like low key. It didn't have to be over the top to get its point across. Like, what do you guys think?
Yeah. I mean, I'm no pro when it comes to horror movies. I really haven't watched any of them, but I will here. So I just Googled like horror movies in 2002. I'm just going to go over just a couple of them that I saw. So like Ghost Ship, Eight-Legged Freaks, which I remember that one. Resident Evil. Here's the one that got me, Fear.com. I remember that one. I never saw it, but it's just funny that Fear.com and The Ring, they kind of have this sort of like, media consumption type of a theme around them. Halloween Resurrection, Bubba Hotep, 2002.
Is that a horror film?
Yeah.
We don't know.
And then this is
We
the one
don't
that
know.
got me. Signs came out in 2002 as well. And that was the
Mm.
first, that was my first comparison to this movie, was that it's kind of on the same level as
Mm.
Signs. It's that it's not gory or anything, but it's suspenseful, it's intense. And actually, there's a scene in Signs where probably the biggest moment in that film was they're watching the TV and they see a news report about an alien, and then it shows the alien on screen, and that's kind of a big moment of like,
It's a single jump scare in
It's
the whole
true.
movie.
yeah, like the single jump scare in the whole movie. But it's one of those things like you're watching a movie and the characters in the movie are watching something on TV, and it kind of makes it feel a little more real. But
Hmm.
anyways, there's just it, like, just looking at those films in 2002, like there's not really a lot of big, like, kind of those slasher gory, like, over the top horror movies. It is a lot more psychological, a lot more around media consumption, things like that.
I mean, Eight-Legged Freaks and Ghost Ship are definitely that.
That's a good point.
To be fair, but I see your point.
Yeah.
Yeah, cultural shift. That's really interesting. Like, what was there? What was wanted, I guess, from people?
That's a good comparison with The Matrix. I was just watching this clip and they were just talking like when no one knew what the Matrix was about when they went into the movie theater. Like it didn't tell you like the mythology behind what the Matrix is. Like it was a new concept to so many people, and they didn't tell you what it was in any of the marketing or the trailers before you went in. So when everyone went in, they all got their minds blown. And that's how I felt with this. Obviously, I'm a little bit younger, and like you said, Harrison, I'm not like a horror film like junkie or anything. But for me, like this was like I would imagine like what Poltergeist did to kids. This was my Poltergeist, and I don't know if that makes sense, but
No, I get that. What was it? So, by the way, this also blows my mind. The Matrix came out in 1999. That blows my mind. Just like what? Like how did that movie come out then? But no, it's interesting. It is interesting that that Matrix came out before that, and it's not too long after this film came out. I could see it.
I feel like this is a pretty good era for film. We've got Lord of the Rings, we've got The Ring, we've got The Matrix. Like the end of the 90s, the first half of the 2000s there's a lot of like we're changing the way movies are made for the better, and like we've kind of, I don't know, like taken that to its logical extreme now, where it's like you kind of have to be wary, like the high budget, high production value, the very, very specifically artistically changed, looks and stuff like that. That was like a really new concept for this era of film that's now been very much taken to an extreme, and it's not always for the better anymore. But I think there really was a turning point. Like if you think of the difference between like They Live, then Ninja Turtles, then this, there's like three very distinct eras of filmmaking.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned it, but like the color palette, I think like that mixed with all the mystery leading you down the road of just dissecting what every little scene is in this mysterious tape that is killing people. But you're right, like it's not jumpy. It leads you along, but then there's like these, like when the dad like kills himself in the tub upstairs.
Freak.
It's really violent. Like I
I'm
remember that.
I'm
part
like,
in
how
the
did he
theater.
plug in that many things?
Yeah.
and he had like a horse bridle and stuff. I was like, this is intense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like this might be a little dark, but like my first thought after that happened, I was like, I feel like he could have simplified this. I don't know if he needed that many chords.
Yeah.
Like I've seen Groundhog Day. All you have to do is drop a toaster in the
Yeah, it's
tub.
not that hard. No, actually, that scene was actually edited down to get the PG-13 rating. It was actually supposed to be quite a bit more violent and quite a bit more terrifying. And I was reading up a little thing about it, and that was one of the scenes that they specifically had to cut down and filter it so that they can get that PG-13 rating. Hey everybody, just popping in real quick. If you could hit that like and subscribe button, that would really help us out a lot. But either way, let's get back to the show.
Yeah, it's funny, like as we're talking about this, like it's like we make ourselves more scared of this movie and the story than the movie does.
Yeah.
At times, like
I mean, it's gross and it's weird.
Yeah, but the color, I think it leans on that color palette because it is just dark, and sometimes there's not a lot happening except like uncovering little clues. But yeah, there was way more like, what do you call it? Like undercover solving a crime.
All right, so
I remembered.
I'm gonna take a quick divergence into my Save the Cat for a little bit, and then I want to ask you, Ren, about your experiences at some of these set locations, because I know you've got stories.
Yeah.
Because we live in the Pacific Northwest, where this film was recorded, where it was filmed, and like I've actually been to like more than one of these places before in my life, just like accidentally. Cool. So that's pretty cool. So I know Ren has as well. But Save the Cat, I'm gonna segue into this because you're talking. Like, this movie feels much more like an investigation than it does like a monster movie. And I was surprised by that. So one of the things that was put into the Save the Cat structure is like, there's just like a handful, like 10 different genres that every movie kind of falls into. And they all have their individual like elements that kind of fit into tropes. And so the two that I went into, or the one that I expected this to be, is the monster in the house genre. And the monster in the house genre is basically like, there's a monster, there's a house, and the house can be like basically any confined space of any kind. So, you know, obviously like a house is a good one. A lot of different monster movies are confined in a house, but it could also be you're trapped in a city or in a bubble or, you know, like whatever the case is. And then the last element is the monster is in the house because something that the characters did. Like, they brought the monster into the house. And most American horror films are a monster in the house. So like what Evil Dead obviously is a really good example. You know, they go into a cabin in the woods, they read the Necronomicon, the monsters come into the house. It's because they were a bunch of immoral teenagers sleeping around in the woods trying to be all naughty. But I mean, that's like the moral of the story. Don't be naughty, because you're going to get killed by monsters. And this is very Aesop's Fables, Grimm's fairy tale. Every single one of those. Don't go into the woods. Don't talk to the witch, or you're naughty. You know, that kind of thing. Nightmare on Elm Street, exact same thing. A bunch of immoral teenagers go, you know, they like blame this guy for like abusing them. He didn't do it, so the city burns him. He comes back and haunts their dreams. That's the monster in the house. The house in those movies is inside their dream. This movie is not that genre, and I think that's one of the things that makes it feels really kind of subversive, is you expect that because we're American. It's very, very culturally ingrained into those movies. This movie the genre is a whodunit, which is there's an investigator, there's a story to uncover, and you uncover something dark about human nature. And this movie fits that perfectly, wrapped in a monster story. And I thought that's what made this movie super interesting. Is I went in expecting this new viewing for this podcast today. I expected to see a monster in the house and was immediately like, oh my gosh, this is an investigation story. Like, this is like why Fringe as a sci-fi show worked, because it's the paranormal, FBI, CIA, whatever the case is. And it's like they all kind of started in this era of like intellectual, uncover the mystery, to like expose dark parts of humanity, to bring them to light and see what we can do about them. And I feel like there's this almost like an honesty to that before we got into a culture of just like blaming everything on everybody. It was like, hey, let's uncover and like expose the light. And I like that much more than like, okay, the light's been exposed, what do we do with it? Let's hate each other, you know? So this is a really interesting like transition into that. Anyway, that's my Save the Cat thing for today.
Yeah, an investigation story.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for earlier. Thank you.
And I think the film does a really good job of uncovering things at a nice pace. Like, I feel like there really wasn't any lulls in the film. I think that it was just a nice steady pace of figuring things out. And like the fact that the tape that you watched, like, you know, you watch the tape and then as you watch through the movie, you know, you start making those click connections. You're like, oh my gosh, that's what that scene in the tape that's happening right now in the film, and things like that. And I think that actually leaned pretty heavily into me really, really liking this film. I know you didn't like Quantum Cowboys, Scott, but I am going to make a comparison. The reason why I like Quantum Cowboys, part of the reason was because they set the rules and I could take those rules and apply them throughout the film. And that's kind of what The Ring did for me as well. Was I watched the tape and it kind of gave me this sort of like Where's Waldo book, kind of gives you that list of things to find. And as you go, you know, as you're looking, you're like, oh wait, I haven't found Waldo yet, but I found, you know, the 9th out of 10 ice cream cones, you know, things like that.
Well, when we were watching it, my wife is always like, she'll like see something and she basically doesn't watch movies. Like she can't watch a movie without like Googling something or learning, like deep diving about an actor or the theme or who wrote it, just all this stuff. But as we're watching it, she was like, "Oh my God, that lighthouse is the Yakina Head Lighthouse in Oregon." I was like, "Oh my gosh." Me and my wife had been dating for 2 years. After about 6 months of dating, I knew I was going to ask her to marry her, but I waited till the 2 year mark. So we schedule this a hotel at the coast. We're going to be there for 2 nights, and we're on the way there. I've already purchased the wedding ring, and I'm like super nervous. I'm like, let's go to the hotel first and drop some stuff off. The whole time, I'm like very aware of where the ring is, and I'm like really nervous.
The ring?
Yeah, I know.
You brought the well with you?
Yes. And
wait, Allie is your first wife, right?
Yes.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I thought this was getting really dark.
No. And I have this idea. I'm like, okay, we get there at like 6:30. Sunsets at 7:15. I was like, hey, let's go look at the sunset. She goes, oh, there's a lighthouse. I've always wanted to go. Let's go check it out. I was like, cool, let's go. So we get in the car. We got about 30 minutes to go. And we're driving, and we're like, I don't want to miss it because you guys know most of the time a sunset in Oregon is freaking beautiful. Sometimes they're nothing to look at,
and they're really rare.
Yes, and when they're rare, and when you see them, it's just like you can just like just go into a trance basically.
Yeah.
So we're driving there, running short on time, and I'm like, oh my gosh! I look behind, and I'm looking for my bag. And guess what I forgot? The ring. So I'm like, okay, it's okay. I don't need to propose tonight. It's all good. We're here for 2 nights. I'll just do it tomorrow. So we get there. The most beautiful sunset ever. There's seagulls flying. I'm like, okay. And then off to the left, which in the film, they kind of transpose out of it, but there's these steps that go down to this other like bay. And there's like sea lions like playing. And like no one in sight. It's freaking beautiful. And I'm like, I can't propose without the ring. Anyways,
one of those things that like in hindsight, you're like, why was I so obsessed about that?
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, I proposed to her. She said yes. And then I was like, no, I actually did buy the ring. I'm sorry. So we went back to the hotel. I gave her the ring. And
that's great.
And what's funny.
And then she watched the movie and died.
Yeah. No, it was funny though. But I proposed to her 10 years after I saw the ring at this lighthouse. And in the words of Lily Gladstone from Quantum Cowboys, sometimes coincidences are just coincidences.
Oh, I think that's a zebra.
That's a zebra.
No, but that's my Yakina Head story. I just thought
That's pretty cool.
It was just cool to see it again.
That's a good one.
I loved it. No, honestly, that lighthouse area, I was like, God, that looks really pretty. Like, I know it's like creepy and scary, but it looks really pretty.
Yeah, a cool spot.
But you know, everything in the Pacific Northwest is blue and washed out. Actually, black and white with a little bit of color.
Yeah. Okay, one thing you alluded to it earlier, but in the beginning of the movie, when the like TV's like blaring, you see the light, but it has that like weird eerie like like that sound. To me, right away, it made me think of Super Metroid. Like, you know what I'm talking about? It's like exactly the same sound. I was like, oh my god.
So it was the sound of a Metroid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a little larva. But anyways, that's basically my last note. I just had to get that in there.
So what did you guys think about some of the plot twists in the film? Because I don't know. I kind of like the one where you find out that Noah's is the father of
yeah.
Aiden.
Oh, was that I thought about that. I was like, I wonder if that was a surprise for Harrison.
No, honestly, it was one of those things. Like they said it, and I was like, "Whoa, that's a plot twist right there." Like I don't know why it was hidden for so long. Like it's one of those things. Like it's like okay, it's a plot twist, but I don't really know why they hid that for so long and why it felt like a plot twist, but it happened.
I guess it sort of added depth as to why Naomi Watts' character was so like taken aback when that other girl walks into his studio. But other than that, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
We'll
get back to plot twists. The one thing that One thing I love about horror movies, though, I watch very few, or suspenseful films. I watch few, but one thing I love about it is I yell at the TV like so much more in those types of movies. And this one, I was literally watching it. I was like, okay, hold on, whoa, why are you showing Noah the tape? This is so dumb. Like, why are you doing it? And then that girl walks in, and then she's like, "Oh, I can't show her the tape." I'm like, "Oh yeah, now all of a sudden you're stressed about it." Like,
and then I love how the next scene right after that in the hallway, he's like, "You didn't have a problem showing me. I did."
yeah, I know. It's so like, it was so funny. Then there's another moment where she wants to show. I think she wants to show the dad, Mr. Morgan. I think she wants to show him or something, but she's like eager to show it to someone else. And just another like, oh yeah, so now you want to show it off. It was kind of crazy. Anyways, but yeah, the other plot twist, figuring out that little girl that died, like just figuring out that whole story, I thought unraveled really, really well. I do like the moment afterwards when they get her out of the well, and then Noah's like, it's like, all right, we're finished. And I was like, dude, there's 20 minutes left in the film. You guys are dead. Like, there's no way that this is gonna go over very well.
All right, I'm gonna do another little segue into a Save the Cat. So the finale, a finale of a book or a movie, is kind of broken up. It's like a ultra compressed version of a whole structure of a whole story. There's a lot of whiplash back and forth to like really keep you on your toes. You gather the team, and then you try to solve the problem the wrong way. Then there's a high tower surprise. Then you figure out what you need to do to solve it the right way. Then you solve it the right way. Okay, so those 5 beats are in pretty much every finale, and this movie did it really, really well. So she gathers the team, is basically she's like, I know where this was, and they go to the cabin 12 at the very end. And she's like, I know what this is. I know how to solve this. And so they're basically just trying to find Samara, right? They find Samara, and then by falling down the well, that's gathering the team. She found Samara. So then how do they solve it? They do the very American thing, which is you put a soul to rest by burying them, this is the Japanese American subversion that they did for the Hightower Surprise. Because the Hightower Surprise is womp womp. Nope, she's just a vengeful spirit from Japan. She's going to come back even though you think you solved it. Because by all American tropes, you just solved the monster movie. You put the evil spirit to rest by giving her a proper burial. And everyone loves each other, and it's like, that's such a great Hollywood ending. But no, the Hightower Surprise, Noah gets killed. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, Aiden goes, what? Why did you save her? She's evil. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
And then she's, Rachel's grieving because Noah's there, and she is like, what do you want from me? And that's the, like, trying to figure out what you need to do to solve it correctly. Then she comes up to the conclusion, oh, I need to propagate this. I need to do the evil, propagate the viral thing that's going to kill everybody. And that's how you solve it in the end. But it's like such a subversion to an American Hollywood wrap up, and very Korean, very Japanese ending to a movie that it's just bleak. You're like, this will just go on forever. I think that's another reason why this movie is just really scary in comparison to other things. It's like, it's not like, oh, the monster died, and then during the credits, their eyes open up. You're like, boom, boom, dum, 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 dum. It was like, oh no, this literally will never stop. There is nothing to kill because she's already dead.
Mm-hmm. No, I could literally see a Hollywood producer watching this and be like, what if you just cut it right here? Like after they figure it all out, and we just get rid of the last part. Like I could see someone trying to like Americanize it, like you said, and just kind of get rid of the back half of the film. By the way, yeah, that her crawling out of the TV, like I knew that was coming. I almost kind of like watching movies where I kind of know certain things because I'm anticipating it. And her crawling out of the TV, even though I know it was coming, I was kind of waiting for it throughout the film. And then when it happened, I was like, that is so good looking. Like they did such a good job. Just the special effects around it, the CGI of it. I was very impressed with it.
Really creepy.
What was the number one scariest moment in this movie for you?
Okay, I would say the scariest, honestly, pulling the hair out of her mouth. Like that.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a jump scare one, but it was the most uncomfortable thing about the film to me. It was just that feeling of it. Like I have a weird thing with like teeth coming out of the body. I really don't like it. And so hair coming out of the body is like even worse. Like that's just.
How about you, Scott?
That'll stick with me.
Probably the really quick flash jump scare of Katie in the closet with her face. That, I mean, that's one of the images that stuck with me forever. Another one actually that stuck with me, it was a really slimy scene. So Harrison, we were at the family reunion last weekend, right?
Yeah.
And I was standing there at the window waving at you, you know, and like sitting there and like folding my arms, and then I came out on the porch. I was like, "Hey, have you seen The Ring yet?" And you were like, "No." And I was like, "Okay, all right."
Yeah.
It's all
that old
clicking
guy
in my head. Oh my gosh.
Brian Cox standing in the window looking down at Samara on the swing, and just her perspective looking at that domineering, like scary old man staring at her. I was like, dude, that really bothered me when I watched it originally.
Question: did you guys have a vibe that the parents were abusive to her? Because I thought that's what was coming, was that they adopted this girl and they abused her. And well, I mean, they killed her, so I guess that counts. But I thought it was going to be a lot more. I really didn't actually see the whole, like, oh no, the girl was the one who could psychically implant these images into their heads, and that's why they killed her. Like, I really didn't see that coming, and it was great having that reveal. Or no, just like, so like the vibe I got was the parents were abusing her. Like, I thought that's kind of what I felt was going to be the reveal, and then they ended up killing her. I really didn't see the fact that the daughter was the one the daughter was supplanting the images into their minds. Like, was there that vibe for you?
I didn't even put that together. I honestly, that's what's interesting about watching a movie that terrified you so long ago. Because I feel like there are like empty spaces. Like, you've already mentioned 2 or 3 things that you noticed that I didn't even think about. And I think that's one of them. I think I just thought that she was like evil, and her mom just went through like serious depression because of her love of horses or something. And their horses kept dying.
Well, I get it, because like, you know, we're watching these in totally different perspectives and totally different spots in our lives. Like, when you watched it when you were younger, it was just terrifying and scary.
Yeah.
And me, like, I watched this film, and while there was uncomfortableness and that tension and a few scary moments, honestly, this really wasn't a scary film for me. Like, I don't look down my stairs and go, "Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can go downstairs."
Yeah.
I still feel that way.
So it makes sense.
Well, let me share some of the scariest scenes for me. I mentioned one. One was when she looks at that mirror, terrifying. 2, when the horse jumps in the water. That scene's really good. Or I don't know how they did that. I mean, obviously it looks CGI, but like they pulled it off well.
Yeah.
But when they're looking at the back, and then just the blood just from the going through the propellers. But the number one for me is when they're axing up the floor, they get to the well, and that freaking TV slides down, rams her, and she falls into the well. That is so scary because the whole movie, every time she watches the Ring tape, she's like 6 inches away from the screen.
Yeah.
And it's almost foreshadowing in a way, but then that's just like what hits her in the head and knocks her in. Just like my heart just like skipped a beat again when I watched it this time. I was like, oh, I forgot how creepy that is. But it's just a TV knocking someone into a well.
Or like the nails like coming out of the floorboards like right before that happens. That was also another moment that made me just like, oh, like that.
Yeah.
You know, something's
Really
gonna be happening.
uncomfortable.
All right, Scott. I did a little deep dive on the Japanese lore, but yeah, go ahead and talk about that.
Okay, so so Samara is a vengeful spirit. So I'm just going to read a little bit from the internet. So in Japanese folklore, humans possess a reikon, or soul, or a spirit that departs the body upon death and enters purgatory. If proper funeral rites are neglected, or if the death involves violence, murder, suicide, or intense negative emotions like hatred or betrayal, the reikon can transform into a yuri, a ghost that haunts the living world until its grievances are resolved. So Sadako specifically embodies the Onryo subtype of a yuri, which is basically a ghost that exacts revenge on those who wronged them. All right. So this is one of the things that I think actually, I've watched both The Ring and Ringu. Watching Ringu actually makes this movie more interesting because I can transplant Sadako, the girl from the Ring, or from Ringu, into The Ring, and it makes the movie a little more powerful. So in Ringu and in the original book, Sadako is just a little girl. and both of her parents are like have psychic abilities or have trained themselves to have psychic abilities and are experimenting on Sadako to get her to have psychic abilities as well. And this is like a play on like kind of a dark period in the early 1900s when in Japan they were doing things almost like Russian kind of experiments or like telepathy kind of experiments we did in the 70s here in the US, but they were trying to like see if you could turn somebody into a weapon or as a psychological terror weapon or something like that by teaching them extrasensory perception stuff. Mm-hmm. And so they were specifically teaching Sadako how to imprint images in things like the x-rays that they allude to, or like the tape, which is why Sadako could make the tape in the first place. So in Ringu, she was absolutely abused and hated by her parents, and she became what she was because of their actions toward her. And because of that, when they killed her because she became too powerful and they threw her into a well, she was a vengeful spirit that came to haunt them. But there was much less sympathy for her in those movies. It was implied. It was much more subtle. Now, in The Ring, to make that more palatable to American audiences, what they did is they made Samara have... Yeah, they simultaneously did two things that are almost like kind of confusing. They're almost conflicting, where they made her an American monster. They made her like The Exorcist. She's just like a devil-born child. But they also made you way more sympathetic of her because she was a child. So it's like they played up both sides, and it almost makes it not work a little bit. Like it's confusing, and you're not really sure why or who was the bad guy. In Ringu, it's obvious that her parents were the bad guys. Mm-hmm. But in this one, it's like her parents couldn't handle it. And so they like put a bag over her head and threw her down a well while she was still alive accidentally, but which is terrible. And like, you can't condone those things, but it's like, well, but wasn't it justified? Because, you know, she was like driving people crazy and she wanted to hurt people and stuff like that. But no, but she's a child. And so it's kind of this, like, it just makes you really uncomfortable. And I'm not entirely sure why they made that decision other than, like, The Exorcist did really well. And so we want to give a reason for her to be that way. When I think Ringo did it a little bit more powerful by having her parents just straight up created this evil child by experimenting her and abusing her, which makes her this Onryo type of vengeful spirit, which you kind of feel justified for her to do because, like, her parents were so dang evil. Like, don't do evil things to people and you won't create evil children that come out of TVs to kill you. That's the moral of the story in Ringu and the book. Yeah. But in this one, it's like, I don't know, like, what if my kid's evil? Should I, like, not throw them down a well? I don't know.
Actually, that scene where they kill her, that was another scene they had to tone down. Like,
they didn't bash her in the head?
Yeah, no. Originally, yeah, she puts the bag over her head and she
just hits her with a brick.
Yeah, hits her with a brick or whatever. There's actually someone pointed out there. Like, someone pointed out there, like, the rock that she uses to beat her, it's actually still in the movie. Like, it's still like next to the well. Like, someone paused it. It's right there. I was like, that's interesting. Damn. But yeah, no, that scene was a little shocking to me too. I was like, whoa.
So I was looking into, like, there's some things that are in the Japanese version that are explained a little bit more. But I think what you were talking about, they call it thoughtography. Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I was like, that's cool. But there's sort of a Japanese, like, old wives' tale, basically, of, like, how they would, like for naughty kids, they would, like, dip them into the well and leave them in there. And then you'd be, like, in the town, not too far off, and hear some kids screaming because they can't get out. And then sometimes, like, a few days later, they would get them out and be like, don't do that again, or they would forget about them, and that's what led to the story of The Ring. And I was like, dude, that is so horrible. Yeah. And then, like, I can remember, like, when you become aware of why it's called The Ring, because that's the last thing that they see when they put the lid on.
Yeah, Harry, what was your experience?
Dude, I freaked out. I was like, that is so good. Like, it's so good.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming at all. And it was just one of those things where as soon as you made that realization, you were just like, not only did you get me, but that makes sense. And it It was perfect. It's like putting the last piece of puzzle into the puzzle that just and you're like,
It fits. Yeah. Also, like the never ending, like the cycle and the circle, and even like the rings of like the VHS tape potentially. Like it was just like, it's kind of perfect. It was really,
it's really good. No, honestly, like I watched this. I learned it was based off of a book. It's actually based off of a trilogy of books. I think it's called like Ring, Loop, and something else. But I'm really tempted to find that book and read it. To be honest, it seems really cool.
Yeah. Kids don't know what it'll be like to have CRTs, TVs. I'm so lucky they're not around anymore. The tree that they see off in the distance is a Japanese maple, and the name of the fruit that grows from it is called a samara.
Well done. Well done.
All right, boys.
Perfection.
Nice seeing y'all.
Clap. There you go. We're out. We're out.
Yep. That gets a genuine golf clap. Like actually impressed. Genuine golf clap.
Yep. I got nothing. That was literally all I have. So
let's see. So I just have these are just kind of random little thoughts I had. When it first started up and it was DreamWorks, I was like, DreamWorks, what are you doing? Like, you're supposed to make Shrek. Like, what's this?
So wait, just last thing, but did you see in the DreamWorks the ring just for like a split second? Yeah, it like the TV like kind of like
the flicker.
Yeah, and then there's the ring logo.
I saw another one that I hadn't seen before. I mean, granted, I've only watched this movie twice. I think it's right at the end of the horse scene. I think it's right at the end of the horse scene. The transition. Yeah. It's just they flash a ring really quick, and it doesn't even like fit. It's just like subliminal They Live style.
Mm-hmm.
I love when they do so. Actually, speaking of that horse scene, so one thing that this film also did was I was really unreasonably mad about a handful of things. One thing, okay, if I'm on a ferry and I see a horse trailer and I go pet a horse, my first thought was like, okay, you pet the horse, whatever. But then she like sticks around and I'm literally thinking like, wait, is this her horse? Like, why are you dealing with this horse? This isn't your horse. Like, go away.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's like really persistent about it.
Hey,
and I'm just like, just walk away.
Yeah.
Calm down, horse. Even though me sticking my hand up to you is what's irritating you, I'm going to keep doing that.
Dude,
over and over.
So mad. I was also really unreasonably angry at the funeral at the very beginning. They're like scraping like piles of food into the sink to go into the garbage disposal. I'm like, just scrape it into the garbage and then wash the plate. Like, I don't know. I was like, so I clogged. One of my sinks got clogged like a few months ago, and now I'm just like, no, like nothing goes down that garbage disposal.
Hey, give her a break. She was grieving.
Yeah. Wait, Harrison. I think this is something that me and you need to unpack because I hate when people waste food.
Yes.
Like, dude. Okay, so last week, Allie, my wife, she packs lunches for the boys. They both came home. And they took like one bite, and I was like, all right, let's just do this. And I unpacked all their food onto a plate, and it overflowed off the plate. I'm like, you guys are wasting food so hard. And I think it's from like having breakfast for dinner, like all the time when we were kids.
Oh yeah.
Our
Family
dad's
of 6 kids.
Yeah, 6 kids.
Yeah, no, that's probably what it was. Honestly,
like entrepreneur, like father, and like just making whatever we can do. This is hard for us, but yeah, I thought the same thing.
I was just telling this to Nicole. Like, I remember, like, I cooked up one of those like. There's still some poor people food that I really like, and one of those is those Tostino's pizzas.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was telling Nicole, I was like, I remember like mom would like cook like 5 of those up, and we would just be like, they'd be gone in 10 seconds because we're all trying to eat food. And I remember having the thought of like, oh, we were poor. That's what it was.
Yeah, we didn't know any better.
It wasn't just like, hey, let's just do an easy dinner. It was like, oh, we were just poor. Okay, I get it.
And like our kids are so lucky that we like loved chicken pot pie and we love Tostino's pizza. Like my kid would hate that food today. It's just funny.
I distinctly remember mom, she like spent, she like made these like chicken enchiladas that take some time to make. And I remember like poking at it on my plate and just being like, hey mom, can I have a chicken pot pie instead? It's just, and I look back at that and I'm like, God, you little shit. Like, just.
And then she cooks it for you and you have to wait 3 hours for it to cool down.
3 hours for it to cook and then another 3 hours.
So 6 hours total, you'll have a chicken pot pie.
Good. Yeah. I had 2 laugh out loud moments in this movie, which was shocking to me. One was when Noah goes into, he like breaks it. No. he goes to find the videotape, like the first videotape that was made. And the guy's like, all right, you get to watch it, but you're bringing it back. I'm not a fan of people taking stuff, not bringing it back. And then they open the tape and it's gone. And he goes, well, now I'm mad. That just, I like busted a gut at that moment. And then it shouldn't have happened, but she falls down the well. And then Noah goes to get that the fire hose, and he's like running with it, and he just does this like backflip midair, like just like, and I was just like, you didn't unscrew it? Like, come on, dude. Like, I know you're panicked, but come on, people. Let's see. I think and then the other unreasonable angry moment. She goes into this like archive room with like newspapers and all this stuff, and she is just making such a mess. Like she's like reaching up on top of the shelf and she's just like dragging books and newspaper. They're just like falling all over the place. And I'm like, get a step stool. Like
journalists, am I right?
Like it's not that hard. Like it was really funny to me. I don't know if it was there on purpose to get me in the angry mood, but it worked.
Zoolander just like, you don't care how many newspapers you leave bloodied and dying along the way.
Seriously. Okay. Couple of behind the scene things that I found that I thought were really cool. So I watched the behind the scenes thing that were on the DVD player. One of the guys they interviewed, it's like Gary, and then underneath him it gives him his title, and the title is internet expert, and that's it. I was like, that's so 2002, and I love it.
Yeah, that's pretty of its time.
One thing they did for not really, I don't know if you count it as promotional tools, but what they did was before this movie came out, they made copies of the Ring tape. It didn't have a trailer announcement. It didn't have a date it was coming out, anything like that. It was just the Ring tape. And I guess they made copies of this and they would go to like concerts and like events and things like that. And they would just leave them laying around and people would find them and watch it. And they'd be like, what the fuck is this?
That's
evil. It's evil and so cool. Like I like that's a little tiny experience of life that I'm like, man, I really wish I want to talk to somebody who found one of those tapes, watched it, and then they went and saw the Ring and they were just like, holy crap. Like that'd be so cool.
Okay, on that note, when you first watched the tape, it's weird how like you're like when I was younger, my mind like thought it was real. Like the thought of you watching something and how that might end your life, that was a brand new concept. I just had to shout that out. It's really like genius kind of. I don't know if that's the right word, but
I think it's just at that time it's such a unique idea that you don't have a concept of being like, no, there's no way that could happen. You know? It's like, wait, like could that happen?
It just felt so like not
visceral, like very like
you just felt like it felt like naughty. Like it felt like you're like, I'm doing something I definitely should not be doing. Yeah. And then you keep watching it.
Well, I think it's kind of the same vibe that Naomi Watts' character Rachel had, you know? It has this tape, there's all these teenage rumors about it, like, oh, if you watch it, you're gonna die. And yet she still puts it into the VCR and watches it.
Yeah.
You know?
And shows someone else.
It's that curiosity killed the cat kind of a vibe.
Yeah, totally.
So I went and watched this also when I was 13. I just barely turned 13 when it came out. My older brother's like 3 years older than me. And he was like, hey, you want to go watch a PG-13 movie with me? And I was like, yes. Yes.
Legally, I can.
And, you know, like me and my brother didn't get along when we were younger. And for him to invite me anywhere was like, you know, really cool and all that kind of stuff. And so we went to the theater and like it really messed with us. Very similar to your story, Ren. I didn't cover my face with my hands, but I like slouched all the way down in the chair and my feet were like up on the chair in front of me. And I was just like, it was just like I was being physically hit constantly.
So you could like hide behind one kneecap if you needed to.
Yeah. And I just remember like that feeling of like, I'm just genuinely scared, you know, like, so then we drove home and it was really spooky because it was night, you know, we got home. And we had a big CRT TV, and my brother and I shared a room downstairs. Or we didn't share a room, but we shared like an area of the house where our rooms were like just apart from each other in the hallway. And both of us were like pretty messed up and just kind of went into our rooms, and it was really late. It was like midnight or something like that. He like went in and turned off his TV and like unplugged it. And I didn't have a TV in my room, but I was like, I'm gonna totally play a prank on him. So I had like this lollipop, like a little dum-dum or something in my room. And I like looked around the corner and I could see into his room, and he was just laying on the bed. And so I just like took the dum-dum and I just threw it into his room, and it landed next to him. And I like went back into my room and hid. I just like laid down in bed like I was asleep. I did it like really quick. And I hear him go, "What's up?" And like flip out, and he like came out, and he like came into the room, and he's like, "Did you do that?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he messed with him. I've never talked to him about that. I should totally send him a text or something like that. It's like, "Hey, do you remember that?"
So good.
Just share this episode with him.
There you go. I love it. So real quick before we jump into our ratings and slimy scenes. So I just want to make sure I got this right real quick, just in terms of comprehension. So did they just happen to adopt a terrible child who could do this?
Yep.
Okay. So there wasn't really a backstory in terms of like how that happened.
Nope.
Okay. I wonder if that's a book thing, or if it's dove deeper into like the sequels or anything like that.
It's the American adaptation.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the Japanese movie and in the book, it's their daughter. They experiment on her.
Let's jump into like our slimy scenes and our rating. I'm gonna go with, definitely one of them is the well being covered up and having that realization. But honestly, the one that really kind of stuck with me was the fly coming out of the TV.
Yeah.
I think that was a very strong turning point in the film for me. Just being like, oh, like this isn't just, this is something else.
It's
This is
bleeding into
something
reality.
else. This current story that she's trying to figure out, she's researching something in the past, is coming to now. Like that's my big one. And in terms of this film, I really like this film quite a bit. I really enjoyed it. I actually told Nicole that. I was like, I really like this movie. And she was like, you're crazy. And I was like, I don't know. Like, it's just, they did a really good job. I think in terms of rating, I think it's a 4.5 for me. Like, I don't think it's a perfect film, and I don't know if I'm gonna go back and watch it a lot. But if someone came up and watched it, asked me about it, I'd be like, honestly, not as scary as you think. For some reason, it has I feel like it does have a reputation of being a very terrifying movie, and it is. But I think it's just a different type of terror than what most people, kind of come to when it comes to American horror movies.
It seems closer to a psychological horror film to me.
Yeah. Most definitely. So yeah, it's a 4.5. I will gladly recommend it. And if somebody was like, "Hey, do you want to watch The Ring tonight?" I'd be like, "Hell yeah, let's do it. I'm excited."
Yeah, I feel pretty similar. Let's see, slimiest scene for me. I mean, this movie's just kind of stuck with me for a long time. Like it's on childhood trauma for a reason. And even though it was Ren's childhood trauma, I had a similar experience of just being really like, this is a genuinely scary movie.
Yeah.
Probably for the psychological horror. I mean, golly, it's probably the scene where the grudge girl is like crawling down the stairs with her arms all weird. Oh, that's a different movie. Yeah, no, I don't know.
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I mean, it's all good. I don't know that I have a slime. It's a slimy movie. It's a slimy movie.
Yeah.
I'd probably put it at a 4.5 as well. 4.5, somewhere in there. Like, I really like this movie, and I'm really pleased to have watched it again and realized that it was actually a good movie.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
right.
so true.
I was really kind of nervous that it wasn't going to be as scary or impactful as I remembered. And like, it's as good as I remember. I'm just older.
Yep.
So I'm not like as impacted by the psychological horror because I've been around, but like, I think it's really well made.
Honestly, when this got picked, I was a little like, oh, I remember you guys actually telling me, you were like, I don't know if I want to watch it again because I kind of want to keep it in that, on the pedestal. And I remember you telling me guys that you're like, I'm worried it's going to come off the pedestal and not be as good as I remember. So I'm glad. I'm really glad that it's as good as you remember.
Yeah. For some reason, like I have like pride that like I got destroyed by a movie that was actually good. Like if you like watch the game, you're like, dude, that movie sucked. Like I'd be kind of let down. I think I've mentioned most of the slimiest scenes for me, but one that we haven't mentioned is the scene where they climb up the ladder and they're up in that loft, and then they figure out that that's where Samara was held. They take the ladder out and she's just stuck up there.
Yeah, I think in the videotape when you just the ladder hitting the ground.
Yes.
Because they never actually like explicitly say that.
Yeah.
But it's just in the tape. I do like the imagery of the tree being burned into the wall and it being in the tape and in her thought images that are burned into, you know, the X-ray and stuff like that. But it's just this Japanese maple from like the place where she was having sweet time when her mom killed her.
But like, there's other iconic parts of this, but like the scribbling of the faces, the pictures of everyone, it's all, what'd you say, smudged?
Yeah, smudge tool.
The smudge tool in Adobe Photoshop or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie's awesome. Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think it's like 4 to 4.5. I'll go 4.5 just personally because of just it's a part of my life, like for sure. Very pleased with everything that Gore Verbinski did in this movie, and I loved, like, he directed Mouse Hunt and then all the Pirates of the Caribbeans. I was like, what? You like don't hear this guy's name, but like he does quality work. I don't know what he's doing now. He hasn't done a ton of movies.
It hasn't been his quality.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll go with 4.5. It was so great to revisit this, and I was really proud to not be as terrified this go around.
While still enjoying it.
Oh yeah, it was great, and to pass on the trauma onto my children, it was great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect parenting moment. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, well, hopefully our next movie, Fox and the Hound, doesn't hurt you even harder.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm ready to be truly impacted.
It's a good landing pad for Return to Oz. So it's all meant to be. It's all meant to be.
There you go. It's the up, down, up.
Yeah.
Hey, Ren, you should take the thumbnails.
Yeah.
Face smudge them.
Yeah, I should. Yeah, I should do that. That'd be a
so
good idea.
Good. Oh my god. That'd be so good. Oh my gosh. Dude.
Yeah.
All right. Peace and loves, y'all. Happy Halloween.
Awesome.
We're going to keep on childhood trauma for a few more weeks.
Yep.
Till we get to the Devil's Day.
Awesome.
It's gonna be fun.
All right, bro. Have a good rest of the day.
Yeah, you guys too. Love you.
Adios. Love you.
That's a wrap on another episode of Cinema Slime. We hope you enjoyed it. This episode was a production by your hosts, Harrison Jensen, Ren Jensen, and Scott Sheppard. Harrison handles the mixing, editing, and production, and Ren, that's me, takes care of the art and design. Want to join the conversation? Let's connect. Find us on Discord for film discussions, movie recommendations, and everything cinema. Be sure to subscribe and leave a comment, and you can also connect with us on social media and show your support on Buy Me a Coffee, and we'll give you a shout out if you'd like. All links can be found in the episode notes.